LBC and a cup of Joe.
That's me.
How you doing today on this lovely fine Sunday?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm feeling great.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yes.
What about you, Joe? How you doing?
I'm cooling. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying my Sunday. Can't complain. Alive. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
That's definitely a plus.
How's your week been, Mel?
My week has been good. It was actually moved pretty quickly this week. It didn't drag at all, which I'm surprised.
Yeah.
What about you, B? How was your week?
My week was good. Work, kids, school.
Ooh, awesome.
Same thing. I'm not even in school, but school for the kids. This was their last week, so had to make sure they were on top of their assignments with this whole quarantine and homeschooling thing.
Yeah, that has to be tough for a lot of parents and a lot of kids getting kind of adjusted to this whole working from home people and homeschooling.
Right.
Has to be tough. I know it is over here in this household. It's
exactly. I was just saying, my daughter was getting under my skin just a couple of minutes ago, but we're not going to talk about that.
Right.
But yes. So I'm happy it's over. School is out for the kids officially. So, all those online assignments is over with.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So today's topic, we want to get into today's topic right away. I have definitely, I don't know about you guys, but I have definitely been seeing a lot of memes kind of shaming Black women for not being on the front lines enough. And I feel like it's a good segue. That whole, drama is a good segue for our topic today about why are Black women ridiculed and admired at the same time for their strength. What do you guys think? Do you feel like this is something that you've noticed?
I actually heard the opposite. I've heard that more Black women have been stepping up to the plate, and that actually a lot of the Black men have been behind the scenes, behind the Black women. So, like I said, that's just something I heard. Yeah, so I ridicule. I think for the fact,
help him out a little bit, B. Like
that's
as a Black
I'm just
woman,
listening.
because Joe look like he's like kind of,
I'm struggling with that. I'm thinking through. I'm trying to process it in my head.
I wasn't gonna help him because I think that's like the beauty of having two females and a male, especially when I feel like me and you, because everybody knows already we struggle with relationships, and maybe we are not ridiculed for our strength. And coming from a man, it's hard for him to find the words because maybe it's just in our head. Maybe we ridicule ourselves more than, it might be something that we're doing. But I get what you're saying, Mel. Like, we are ridiculed for our strength. Oh, you're too strong in this situation. But I'm so happy you're strong with being a single mom, holding it down when your kid's father or your significant other gets locked up or gets into financial trouble. I think we're looked at as, like I said, strong for the, not so much negative, but when people are down and out, that's a good thing. But when we're strong as far as taking care of ourselves, it's like, wait a minute, like you have too much testosterone, like, just chill, be a lady, be feminine. So that's why I was kind of letting Joe kind of fish for the answer, because maybe it's in our head. Do you, Joe, as a male, view Black women as like too strong?
I wouldn't say too strong. I think for the most part, they're strong enough, and I think pretty much that's set based upon when you have. I was having a discussion with somebody about this, where you have households where there's no Black fathers around, And then you have a lot of women who have to learn how to be strong as women because they have their mothers and their grandmothers. So it instills in them how to be strong over the course of time and growing up and through the years. And then, they have their experiences, their heartbreaks. So that ends up building, hardening their heart even more. And then when they start having children, so now they have to not only do it for themselves, but for their children as well. So I think that that encases them being strong or automatically. And then on the same front, you got dudes who don't have their dads or don't have that haven't been taught how to be a man. They come in these situations, and I think the wave has changed where there's not a lot of dudes that knows how to take charge and know how to lead a woman. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that the woman needs to be led, but she prefers to. That's what she wants. She doesn't want to be strong. She don't want to be the one that's saving everything, doing everything. She would like the man to do that, and she would like to be the support for that.
That's right. Preach on a Sunday, Joe. Let them know.
And
high to being strong.
That's what her strength is.
High and holding it down.
You still
like, we don't mind some help. We need it. We appreciate
right.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
We embrace it. That's
just
what we need.
I want to show y'all a meme that I saw earlier. Actually, it was somebody's Twitter post that kind of went viral. But it talked about this exact topic. And I think that's what kind of sparked my interest in the topic. I've always been kind of fascinated with the whole idea of what are the ramifications and the downfall or the downside, I should say, to Black women always having to be strong. So as you can see in this post right here, this guy's saying, please stop glorifying Black women and girls as soldiers, as strong race soldiers and fixers for Black communities, and particularly for Black men. The most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected group should not be at the front lines. It further dehumanizes them. Listen to Black women on this. And I feel like this is important. And because I've seen a lot of memes kind of, villainizing Black women for not being on the front lines more, and I feel like we're the only ones that always have to kind of justify why we're not doing something. Like, what if we want to be feminine? What if we want to be, at home? And voicing our concerns about whatever issues are going on, in a different way, as opposed to being in the trenches. And I feel like as far as Black women, we always have these stereotypes attached to us that are always to our detriment. Like originally there was the mammy and the Jezebel. The mammy was old Hollywood where the Black woman was kind of asexual and very servant taking care of people, no real sex appeal at all. Then there was the Jezebel or the video vixen, where we were looked at as being sexual objects only. Then there's the angry Black woman stereotype. And then now it's the strong Black woman stereotype. Like most women, Black women in Hollywood or even in TV shows are always the pillar of the community, the pillar of the household. Like we're always expected to have these, superhero strengths while also kind of just neglecting our own self. And our own self-care and really not, just sitting back and allowing men to do that. I feel like that's the stereotype we have.
It's definitely a stereotype and it's reality. When I look at my own family, it's always like my mom, my grandmother, the great aunts, the aunties, couple of uncles and male cousins here and there, but where are the men in the families? Even when we barbecue, it's like you know, you expect your uncles to be on the grill and, you know, your father, whoever, but it's usually like the woman running around, getting the food, doing, you know, the planning and the serving. And I think that that stereotype is only, you know, it's only alive and it only keeps on going because the black men in the family are not taking on that role or that responsibility as being the alpha male. And I'm not blaming y'all at all. I think that black women, we definitely do, and I hate to say this, but we do have our ways that can push a person away. You know, like I hate to like point fingers at anybody, but I feel like it's like kind of like a 40-60 type of thing, like 40% black women, because we have that strong personality and we feel like we're always supposed to hold it down. That could definitely make a black male or any man, it's not even just black, any man feel less than, and it might cause struggles in the households of who wears the pants. You know,
But that's exactly why I feel like we admire and ridicule at the same time. Because on one side, it's like, oh, the black woman is, you know, she can hold so much and she can juggle all of these different responsibilities. But then on the flip side, when it's not acceptable or it's not easy for, you know, the opposite sex to benefit from, we're considered as difficult. But we're not difficult when we out there on the front lines fighting for, you know, our black men not to be killed, or, you know, don't hurt
or
my
doing
son.
bids with them, doing whatever it is, dealing with the extra baby mothers and all that other
Right. It's
stuff.
like it's only good if, you
It
know, our
benefits somebody.
strength is only admirable when we carry other people's burdens and they benefiting from it.
Right.
But on the flip side, it's like, okay, you gotta be strong, but you can't be difficult. You can't have nothing to go with that. Like you gotta do all of that with a smile.
Right.
And I feel like that. What do you think, Joe? Like,
I was gonna say, like, I want to hear what Joe has to say.
It's definitely a thing where definitely believe people are gonna use people for things, and those are great examples right there, because I know a couple of dudes that do those things, and they'll ridicule a woman for being this way, and then but when she's holding down, if he ain't got his money right and she got the money for him, or she's sacrificing this and that for him, then I'd be like, yo, hey man, you gotta do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for the most part, I still think it's this generational thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, how the households were set up, just like I was talking about it when back in the day when they started introducing public housing. In order for you to get public housing, you had through the government. The government made you all right. The woman, the child can live here. You can't have a black male in the household. It's still a lot to this day because that's how Section 8 works. You know what I'm saying? So it started. So if you wanted to live in public housing, this was the rule for you to live in public housing. You can
not
have
just public housing, but food stamps
yeah,
and public assistance.
yeah. I'm
was
just
the
making
same way.
that example. How far back it started. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, it became a culture thing where okay, you can't stay here, you can't be here as a black man, and then it started becoming catching on unconsciously for black men not to be in the household. And then I'm not making the excuses of saying, okay, this is the generational thing. This is what I'm gonna tell my wife or my girl, like, hey, it's because it happened like 60 years ago. But you know what I'm saying? But it plays a role. A lot of unconscious stuff has happened. And like I said, for the most part, if you never had a father or a father figure to teach you how to step up and be a man in that role, and for a woman, I think a women go through a lot. Like I said, just even going through childbirth and taking care of your kids, that's enough within itself to make you strong because you have no choice but to be strong. And then when you come around to a man who doesn't really have those responsibilities, like yeah, men, we got stuff we do as men, but it ain't nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Me
Like,
and B was talking
I'm
about
glad
this
you
the other
recognize
day.
that
Like,
one.
Nah, you know, I mean, we do our
Y'all
stuff,
don't
we
even
do our
know the
thing.
half of what me and B be going through. That we be
A
over here
lot of
talking
women. I
shit.
applaud all women, black, white, brown, yellow. But I just wanted to like go back to one point that you said about welfare and food stamps. Like, I get it. Like, the system was definitely designed to separate us and have the woman doing it on her own. But you know how I always got to go back to politics, you know, sprinkle my little politics in there, here and there.
Sprinkle,
But
sprinkle.
that's where the liberals and the Democrats come in. That's one of their agendas, to keep the black families and the brown families apart with those government programs. Now, if the man was doing what he was supposed to do, then we would not have to rely on those government programs. So therefore, you eliminate the middleman. We understand that you guys have struggles and things aren't fair. And back then in the 60s, we were just coming out of Brown versus Board and segregation and Jim Crow. However, there are so many different jobs, so many different opportunities now, today, for blacks, browns, yellows, whites, blues, whatever, gay, straight, to get your shit together. So this way the woman doesn't have to struggle. And we should learn from our mistakes. And if you see something that doesn't work, why do you continue the same cycle? Why hasn't that cycle yet been broken? Those are the things that we need to focus on and try to fix. And the way we fix it is together as a union, you know? So go ahead, Mel.
What I was gonna say was, even if going back to both what you and Joe said about fathers not being able to be in the household because of certain government programs, what stopped the men from at least saying, okay, do y'all need anything? Like, I'm gonna still take care of my kids. You need me to get the groceries out the car? Do you need me to take the stuff upstairs? I know I can't live here, but I'm gonna still help you because you're a woman and you don't need to be doing all this by yourself.
Exactly.
Like, my whole thing is men have it a lot easier to kind of, once they leave the household, they leave all the responsibilities of that household with it and then go on and say, oh, well, I still got to take care of myself. Meanwhile, leaving the woman kind of behind to fend for herself and her children. Now,
their children,
well, they become
her
children because, you know, but at the same time, I feel like as a community, you know, black men should be uplifting black women. You know, if you see a woman, you know, walking down the street and she look like she needs help with her bags or something like that, you know, offer assistance, offer to do the heavy work or whatever. If you notice that she's without a man, doesn't mean that she doesn't have a man at home. It just means that you're showing that you are able-bodied man that is willing to protect, you know, and provide for a woman. Right. And I feel like as black women, we don't really have that in our communities. Like, we don't really have black men that are making us feel protected and making us feel like we don't have to be strong, you know. And children, they see that when they grow up. If a little girl grows up and she sees her mom doing everything, and then the little boy grows up and he sees his mom doing everything, he might look at it like, you know, later on, okay, well, I'm used to my mom handling everything, so I don't need to help my wife. You know, or my mom wasn't even married, so I don't need to be married. My dad wasn't married. Like, when do we change the paradigm? When do we change the story of what is required for black women to feel like women, like we can be vulnerable, that we don't feel like we need to take on so much without anyone helping us? Like, when do we change the story?
I think the biggest thing to start with is the influence, and the influence is the music, the movies, the TV shows. Once we start changing that and stop accepting the ratchetness, you know, ain't nothing wrong with
I got to applaud you on that, Joe.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that plays into our culture. So you tend to look like back in the day when we had a different world. You know, how many people wanted to go to college because of that?
I love that show. That was my favorite show.
So I was banging it, and even the Cosby Show. You know what I'm saying? That showed it all that black unity. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take examples. Of course, we could easily be like, okay, well, cool. It's going to take mentors. It's going to take this and that. But if you really think about it, if you really think about the disproportionate amount of dudes who haven't grown up with a father, they never taught them from the beginning. How else they going to know? You know what I'm saying? And it just takes from there. You're going to have to pretty much count on their experiences to come to realize that. Like with me personally, when I go to my customers' houses, and there's a guy and there's a woman in the house. So the first thing I do is I go to the guy. Hey, I'm here to do your cable. Boom, boom, boom. What you want? What you want me to put? What? And he'll be like, "Go talk to her." Like for real.
Like, I noticed that too. Like, do men kind of like when women are in charge?
I mean,
like,
some dudes like that, but I just be like, well, I figured if she got other things to do, you will want to take some things off her plate as well. As a dude, like, okay, the cable guy's here. Why me as another dude talking to your woman? You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't no problem with me, but I just I think she would prefer that. Hey, if you're a guy, I would prefer you to talk to the guy. Just like if a woman came in the house, she wouldn't send the woman to go talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not at all.
Go talk to my husband real quick. You know what I'm saying? she ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So, and then and sometimes I go to some women's houses, and then I can see like the trash is filled up or just sitting at the door, and I already know she ain't got no dude over there. I could just tell. And I'd be like, I'll take that out for you real quick. She'd be like, oh, man, they love that. They'd be like, oh, for real? Oh, my God, thank you so much. And I'd be like, it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just, you just gotta, with men, it just gotta be the right person, the right influence, the right mentors in their life to teach them how to do that. That's why I'm so like hard on my son. And teaching them how to be a man, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's a wonderful. Yes. Keep being hard on him, please.
Yeah,
keep being hard on him.
And I already told him like it's not that I don't love you or nothing like that. It's just that I'm preparing you for manhood. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you should take it as. And he's receiving it very well. Takes out the trash, without me asking. He also he replaces the trash bag, so he don't just check out the trash and don't put that back in there. So we already know that. I don't have to ask him to do that. He when him and his sisters have their bags, he makes sure that he makes sure he gets their bags, so they don't have to carry it. He opens the door. Whenever he if he meets one of my he'll be like, "You look nice," and blah blah. He'll give him a hug. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
that is so sweet.
He has that.
So what do you think about us Black women being too difficult? Like, where do you think that comes from? Look, I gotta say it with my neck. Why do
you think it comes from us being difficult?
I think that's more of a thing where I think that's more from the heartbreak part of it, where you're looking for certain men in your lives and you look for them to be the strength in your lives, and they constantly get disappointed. So therefore you develop a defense mechanism for your heart, and you feel like I refuse to let this man let me down. So
do you think I feel like it's cultural, because my daughter has not experienced any heartbreak and she got attitude for everybody. I feel like little Black girls have a certain attitude about them that's cultural, and then it matures, as we get older, and we're different from other cultures and other races. Let's just face it. But I feel like we're ridiculed for that person, for us just having a different personality, or even a strong personality, or even being considered bossy. Like, we're ridiculed for being difficult and sassy and argumentative and all of these things.
That's definitely cool. I can see the cultural part in that, but I think for the most part, like I said, that the biggest thing about the Black woman is they're not gonna let you lead them unless you're strong enough to lead them.
Fact.
Yes, and that is not a negative. I think that's a positive.
And I am not on the male bashing today, but I'm just keeping it real.
That's what I want to say.
I'm just keeping it real. Like,
it doesn't just come from the man being a leader internally. He could be a leader, and you meet a toxic woman who can just knock that whole leadership out of him. And it's important for us to continue to be a backbone and compliment, appreciate, love, rub, hug, do whatever it takes to keep that man in that leadership role. It's a union, and it's unity, and together we make no, it really is. And I think that Black men definitely don't get all of the support and the recognition that they need or deserve. Like, I've done it, taking out my frustrations on my ex-lover or whatever, because I might see something in him that triggered something deep down inside in me that made me react a certain way. I just wish and hope that we continue to have these discussions so we know where we go wrong, and it leads us to like a beautiful relationship, because it's hard complimenting people. It's hard being a guy or a girl's cheerleader when you didn't have that for yourself. Right. So like you said, it's you led by example. And social media has definitely destroyed the stereotypes of Black women, with the hair weaves, with the eyelashes, with the twerking, with the ratchetness. It just like destroyed the stereotypes. The money hungry, all those stereotypes that are thrown out there. It definitely destroyed how people view us. So I think it's important for us to remain strong and show them what we want. Project what you want out there for your daughter or your son, and try to lead by example.
I think as far as like, I think a lot of other races are able to get away with things more than Black women. Like when you mention like the hair weaves and eyelashes, like I like those things. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, okay, I like to be extra sometimes, but Black women aren't the only people that wear eyelashes and hair.
We're not, but
we're the ones that when we do it, it's like, oh, that's ratchet. Oh, she doesn't like who she is. Like we're always ridiculed for everything that we do. I feel like Black women have less leeway. If you want a man to be a provider, and you just want to be a stay-at-home mom. Other cultures, white women, Hispanic women, they do it all the time. But if a Black woman decides I want to have a husband that goes out and works while I stay home and take care of the kids, or work on a hobby, or work on my business, oh, she's a gold digger. If you're able to get your point across in an authoritative fashion, you're considered too bossy.
No, I'm good. I'm stretching.
Oh, okay.
Considered too bossy or whatever. But a white woman might be looked at as being a boss, like a take charge kind of owning running a hedge fund or being the CEO of a company, and nobody bats an eye. But when Black women take those types of roles, it's like, oh, well, she's not gonna have no man, and nobody's gonna want to deal with her because she's too successful. Like, it's just so, I feel like Black women have so many like obligations that we have to live up to. Like we have to have the obligations to succeed, to suppress our emotion, to like neglect ourselves while we care for others. Like it's just, I feel like it's just a disparity. And it's not fair. Like we shouldn't have to always constantly worry about, oh, am I doing this right? Oh, I can't look this way. I can't act this way, or I'm gonna be perceived this way. Like we got enough stress.
Right. We do. We definitely do.
I can't, unfortunately I can't relate because I'm not a Black woman, but I could just tell you just off the experiences of dealing with, and most of my, I've been mostly raised by Black women anyway. My father was around every other weekend or whatever the case, or every couple of weekends, but he still, nonetheless, that even though it was a short period of time, his influence still played a role in how I am as a father now. You know what I'm saying? And but I see my grandmother, my aunt, my moms, all of them, what they go through and what they deal with, and you know what I'm saying, I always make sure I play a role in making sure things are easier for them as me. My mother and my mother and my grandmother, like You ain't gotta. If I see something going on, like something needs to be done, and I'm taking care of it, you ain't even gotta ask me because I'm learning how to be instilled in me to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they still, they still do their thing. They still keep it pushing. But I think for the most part, just because you have all those images and and all that ridicule, that's why a lot of black women that's in that are successful want to protect themselves because they getting attacked from all different angles and they have to develop this hard shell to be the way they are and then and then everybody's trying to break them out to make them what they want. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I can understand that because if you're getting attacked from people from other races and you're getting attacked from other women of your race and then you're getting attacked from men of your race, you know what I'm saying? It's just you got to develop to maintain because you want to succeed. And you know what I'm saying? You can't just be weak and you can't just bow down because somebody said something that hurts your feelings, but you work so hard to get what you got. You know what I'm saying? And then especially if you have children to take care of, you know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do.
That goes along with the responsibility and the obligation for us to do so many things and not show any vulnerability, not show that, any sign of weakness.
Right.
And I feel like black women, we need black men to kind of just give us that place and that space to feel vulnerable, to feel safe. I mean, from your opinion, what do you feel like you have done in the past? What do you feel like you have done in the past to like make women feel safe and vulnerable? Like, do you feel like you have offered that as a black man to like let women feel vulnerable enough to be a woman with you?
I try to, you know what I'm saying? I try to be casual and open and not be so aggressive and assertive and be like mannish.
What if you like when you like
that?
a little?
I'm like, we like that.
We kind of do. Like we kind of like when men are a little aggressive.
It's a balance, though. It's a balance because
I'm not talking about physically aggressive. I mean, just like leading, like.
Oh yeah,
where we going, babe? I'm gonna be in the passenger seat. I'm not a rider's eye, but I'm gonna ride with you and see where you going. And if we on the right road, I'm gonna stay in the car with you, but I want you to drive.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, like things like that. It just takes little things. Like I said, like I don't mind taking charge of a situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't had it always in me. I had to learn how to be that way.
How you take charge, Joe?
Man, I could have swore we said last week you can't be telling them, you just gotta do it.
Oh, he's taking notes and he's learning.
Right.
That's a good man.
Damn,
Look, that's a good man.
You got that one.
I could show you better than I could tell you. How about that?
I wish I had a whip sound.
I'm ready to see. Ain't y'all ladies ready to see what Joe gonna show us?
Whoever wants to date Joe, DM us, and we could definitely hook you up, and you could be on the show. Date Joe.
But yes. For the most part, though,
MelBee@gmail.com. Email us if you're ready for
hashtag Date Joe.
Yeah, crazy.
From the show.
From the show. Yes.
Date Joe from the show.
But yeah, for the most part, I can give you like one example. Like and I know y'all was like not literal about it, but like for example, if we going somewhere, right, and let's say we in the same car, we just taking one car, I'm more likely gonna be like, yo, let me just go ahead and drive. You just go ahead and go, because I'm used to driving anyway.
Right.
And then on top of that,
I ain't got shit left.
Women drive crazy.
I'm done. Like,
sorry.
Women drive crazy anyway, so I like to
wait a minute.
Spend a couple of hours of my life, just take charge of my life.
We don't drive crazy.
He had to sneak in the sneak this over there talking about women don't know how to drive.
So I gotta take charge of my life and her life too, so she'll feel protected that we gonna get there and get back safely. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I like the way you worded that. That was cute. That was cute.
So yeah, so like I said, it just takes the little things, and like I said, I'm not gonna say, oh, I got it all down pat. I'm still learning, constantly learning. And everything's not gonna be good for one woman as it is for another woman. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you know that.
What about a woman that you're not dating? Like, what can you do what can you do as a Black man to make women in your community or your friends, like me and B over here, what can you do to make us feel like we have a safe place to be vulnerable?
Have podcasts like these and let you know that all the dudes out here ain't what you aren't terrible. And also too, you have to get advice from your male influences in your family. You got brothers, you got uncles. You may not deal with good dudes, but you know some good dudes. And they not.
I've asked you for some dating advice of more than a few times. I was texting Joe like, "Oh, what should I say?"
I give it to you though. I give it to you though. I give it to you. I do give it. I let you know, but like, hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. So like I said, dudes around you that who are good role models and good men. So you should always look towards them for advice. If you don't have that father figure. Or you don't have that husband or that boyfriend that you could know this. You just ask one of your male friends.
Well, I'm hoping we don't have a husband or a boyfriend and we asking for dating advice from you. I'm
gonna still be asking Joe until I get married. I'm gonna be asking Joe.
It's all good.
So my husband,
I'm gonna need the male
husband. That's what I ain't gonna be. I'm husband your ass to death. And
I'm definitely not gonna be Steve Harvey over here though. So I'm gonna give you a limited amount of advice. So
no,
why after what? After 2 minutes you start charging 99 cents an hour?
Steve Harvey be going in. So yeah.
What do you think, B? Cause Joe, you've been talking about yourself and what you want to do for like 40 minutes.
Oh, word? Okay, cool.
No, I'm kidding. B, what do you think? What do you think, as a Black woman, what do you feel like men can do to make you feel, whether it's romantic or platonic? What do you feel like they could do to make you feel safe as a woman, as a Black woman, and vulnerable?
Stay consistent. Consistency definitely for me makes me feel safe, and it makes me feel like I always will have a place, like a safe place to go to. Someone to rely on. What's so funny? Everyone can see and hear you.
Hashtag ask Joe.
Oh. Wait, I need to stop drinking. I'm reading something else totally different on the screen. But yes, consistency definitely will make me feel secure, safe, feminine, and feel like I have a friend for life, a lover for life, or whatever it is. Yeah, show up when I need you. If my tire's flat, I don't expect to go get my tire fixed or get a car inspection or oil change. Like certain things, just show up. That's like important, because there's certain things I wouldn't expect a man to do, and I don't mind doing. Like I like to wash clothes and serve, that. Like I like doing certain things, so I just want the energy to be the same. Match my energy.
I'm a man that know how to wash his own clothes.
I mean, I just like doing it because I feel like I do it right, and I feel like I'm gonna need for him to hire a maid service to.
I feel you, because that's
we
why
can have a maid once a month to do like the heavy dusting, but like certain things, I'm just like, nah, let me handle it because I'm gonna do it right. And if I'm mixing my clothes with your clothes, like I just want to do it. I don't mind doing that.
That's
That's like the garbage, and like I said, if my car needs gas, I should never be on empty. I should never have to worry about shoveling, oil changes, like any car maintenance, killing bugs, picking up boxes, stuff like that. I expect, and I do my feminine part.
And give me a massage at the end of the day. Like I want a massage. I'm gonna need him to use his big old masculine hands and get it in his shoulders, the neck area.
You can get my ass cracked. No, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I was drinking, y'all. I was drinking. But no, yeah. The show just feels good too.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Getting all the holes and
Just
all the crevices and cracks.
And all the creases. Just make sure that
wrong on MelBee's tea.
get the pressing.
And a cup of Joe. So what would you want for yourself, Melissa?
Then y'all too young to be listening to this live. That's all I gotta say.
What about you, Melissa? How about you? What do you want a man to do for you?
Everything.
Everything.
I want him to do it all. Okay, I want him to do it all, so I don't gotta do it all. Plain and simple.
Damn.
That's right. Y'all hear that?
That's it. That's all I
need.
need.
Contestant on our dating show. Her name is Mel. # date Mel.
Date Mel. And if you go back to the
previous, do it all.
And if
I'm
you go back,
I'm really not that hard to deal with. I'm just, I'm being real. There are some things that I would definitely do for him, but I need a man to make me feel like I don't need to just be Superwoman. That's all I ask. Like my future husband, I'll definitely know it's him based on how much he allows me to do. Okay. And I'm not saying like, an authoritative, way. Like you can't go to the store unless you tell me. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I shouldn't have to lift a finger. I shouldn't, like B was saying, I shouldn't have to, worry about when the car needs to be registered, or does the car have gas, or does the lawn need to be mowed, or certain things. Like I know how to run a household, but to have a man that can take care of all of those things that I usually pay somebody to do, I would like, because I'm not getting out there and mowing lawns. I'm not doing it.
Nope.
So yeah.
That's what it is, man.
And another tip. I mean, I know it's probably not a big thing, but I cannot stand to see a woman pumping gas and the guy is sitting in the passenger side, back seat, front seat, whatever it is. It's just, it drives me nuts. So men, please don't let women pump gas. Like it's just.
Mel the Taurus. Yep. Hey, go ahead, highlight that, Melissa.
Mel the Taurus. Yes, facts. I'm a Taurus. If you haven't heard, now you know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yes, this was a good show, guys. I'm really, I like today's topic. I feel like, we definitely hit on some good points. We can definitely revisit this from a broader scope. Like I feel like I want to touch on how Black men don't feel vulnerable. One of these, they don't have a safe place to be vulnerable. I want to touch on that,
Okay.
soon. Because I feel like that's just as important as Black women not feeling safe. Like we want to know from our watchers and our viewers and our followers, how have you been dealing with these feelings and these emotions? Like as from a Black woman's perspective and a Black man's perspective, because we all have, or we both sides have our challenges,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then also too, the biggest thing too, we definitely want y'all to participate. So if y'all trying to come on this video with this live feed and y'all about it, and you want to say your piece, we want to hear y'all say your piece and be amongst the family. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, if y'all want to get on the show, let us know. Hit us up. We love to have you on the show on this video and do what it do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And I was just throwing it out there about like the date Mel, date Joe. But I'm serious. If anybody wants to date anybody on this show, feel free to DM us. Let us know. If you need a date, I will hook you up. Trust me, I will hook you up.
Don't take yourself out the equation, girl.
No, it's all right. My husband is not. Listen, I'm still working on a lot of things, like internally. So I know, like seriously, I know I'm not 100% ready. I'm still like, I got like about 15 more minutes in the oven left before I'm ready to like meet my husband. But I'm definitely the perfect matchmaker. So if you want to be matched with anybody on the show or anybody in general, hit us up. we could definitely have like a love connection segment, and you know, I'll connect you, scissoring and all.
Yeah, whoa.
Like this or like this?
I mean, like this, like this, like
How does
this,
it go?
like this. However you need it. I got you. I got y'all.
All right. Well, cool. We had a
But
great
yes.
week this week. We'll be ready. Hope we looking forward to y'all joining us again next week for a new topic.
Make sure y'all tune in. We're live every Sunday at 6.
Every Sunday at 6.
Sunday at 6. You know, we might be on CP time. It might start like 10, 15 minutes after 6, but we doing better.
Y'all know what 6 o'clock means when we just color. Like
around 6.
Around 6-ish.
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 Mm-hmm.
So if you don't see us on there right away, just wait. We coming.
That's right. We coming.
Or send one of your favorite co-hosts a text message and be like, y'all must not be on yet.
Exactly.
We're actually gonna be off next Sunday because of Father's Day.
Yes, we want to definitely give the fathers a day to rest and enjoy their day.
So we go.
And Juneteenth. Don't forget about Juneteenth, y'all, on Friday.
Right. Power to the people. This year we definitely going to celebrate Juneteenth for everything that's been going on. I just want to say real quick, I think it's important for us to know our roots and celebrate days that mean something to us. Let's stop adopting other people's holidays and make our own. So this year, next weekend, Juneteenth, Father's Day is going to be live and big. And shout out to you, Joe, for doing your thing as a father. I know you're a great dad, and we need more daddies like you in their kids' life to teach them how to be a good man. And it's important. And all the fathers out there, single dads.
Happy Father's Day,
early Father's Day. Happy Father's Day every day, because I feel like y'all are the glue that holds us together. Black, white, whatever. Especially black, because we black. But y'all the glue that holds us together, and we need to just keep our family strong. And that's it. Keep our communities and families strong.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But that's it.
All right.
So we're going to head on out, and I'll see y'all next Sunday.
See you next Sunday. Well, not Sunday, but probably Saturday.
The next 2 Sundays.
2 Sundays. We'll be back.
All right.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Bye.